Okay, welcome to UNILAG POSTUTME orientation class. So, what we want to do today is basically showing you the content of the POSTUTME class and also the mark distribution for the score. So for UNILAG POSTUTME, the distribution is usually cut across three major aspects. The first one is the UTME score, and the second one is the post UTME score, while the third one is O level. So why do we have to do post UTME? This is because on a norm prior to post UTME, UTME was enough, both UTME and O level were enough to guide students into college, into the university. But over the years, due to some examination malpractices, especially at the O level, so they decide to introduce a post-UTME so that it's going to give students that are good an extra edge into gaining admission into UNILAG. UNILAG started it in about 2005. Then other schools started from 2007. So for UNILAG, the mark distribution is usually 50% for UTME. For post UTME, it's going to be 30%, while for O level, we have 20%. Everything adds up to 100%. Let me take that again. For the UTME, it contributes 50% to the aggregate. Post UTME contributes 30%, while O level contributes 20%. So if UTME is going to contribute 50%, it simply means the maximum you can have from UTME score is 50%. And do not forget that the maximum score of UTME is 400. So it means that 400 is equivalent to the 50% we are talking about here, right? So what does that mean? It means if we divide 400 by 50, that's going to be 8. So every UTME score must be divided by 8 in order to get the 50%. So we have the UTME. The score is going to be divided by 8 in order to have its equivalent within the aggregate. Don't worry, I'm going to use a case study for you to understand better. So the post UTME contributes 30%. I will come back to that later. Let me first explain the O level. The O level contributes 20%. For a science-oriented student, the O level should be mathematics. We have maths, English, we have physics, chemistry, and depending on if the person is going for a physical science or a medical science, the fifth one can either be biology or further math. So I'm going to base this on biology. So this is going to be biology. For a non-science student, maths and English must always be there. So you must have at least credit pass in math and English. Then you can have the likes of economics. You can have government. You can have commerce. Depending on the course you're doing, you can have literature if, for instance, it's an art student. Okay, and what does 20% imply for O level? An A grade, it can either be an A grade So we have A1 is equivalent to 4.0. Then we have B2. It gradually reduces by 0.4. So if A1 is 4.0, B2 is going to be 3.6. B3 is 3.2. B4 is going, what am I saying? So we have C4. C4, what do you have? 2.8. Then you have a C5, 2.4. And the least grade, the least credit grade you can have from WAEC is going to be C6. So this is going to be what? 2.0. So you have a great edge if most of your grades fall within A1 and B2. In fact, for somebody who has the 5 major subjects relevant to his subject to be A1, automatically has 20 in the aggregate. I'm going to use a case study. So let's say you have Mr. X. Maybe the UTME score of Mr. X is for, let's use 320. Then we have the O-level score of Mr. X. Let's say for maths, Mr. X has B2. English, B2. Biology, A1. Physics, B3. Chemistry, let's say this guy has what? C4. This is prior to writing post-UTME. So now we want to know the aggregate that Mr. X has prior to the post-UTME. So what do? We take the UTME score and divide it by what? We divide it by 8. Okay, so let's create a space here. So the UTME score divided by 8 divided by 8. So that's going to give us 40, because 8 can go in 32 4 times. So we have 40. So which means the aggregate coming from the UTME side is going to be 40. Then for the O-level side, we've got B2. And what does that B2 correspond to? Based on what I gave you earlier, B2 is 3.6. So you have that as 3.6. Then plus. The next you have B2 again, another 3.6. Okay, that itself is 7.2. Then what do we have? 7.2 plus A1. A1 is 4.0. So that gives you 11.2. Then B3. B3 is 3.2, right? So you have 3.2. That gives you 14.4. Okay. And what else? You have C4. C4 is 2.8. So what do you have? 14.4 plus what? 2.8. So this is going to give you 17.2. So currently, Mr. X has his UTME aggregate to be equivalent to 40 over 50. And as the O-level aggregate to be equals to 17.2 divided by, 17.2 over 20. which means out of a total of 70 score, Mr. X currently stands at 57.2, which means right now we are 57.2 over 70. That's what Mr. S asks. So right now, there is only one thing in the control of Mr. X. It is no longer UTME because it has been done. Neither is it O level because it has been done, except the person wants to write another O level, and therefore that cannot be for this year anymore. Okay. So the only thing in the control of Mr. X is the post UTME. So which means for your post UTME score, out of 30%, you want to try as much as possible to first get the 30%, depending on the course you're doing. So number of questions. Number of questions for the post-UTME exam. It's usually 30 questions. So they can make it 30 questions so that it will automatically rhyme with the 30%. You know, if it is 30 questions, they don't need to do any mathematical gymnastic for it to align with 30%. But in some cases, they make it 40. Like last year, the number of questions were 40. Or it could be 40 questions. So if it is 40 questions, they still need to match it to the 30%. Okay. So for instance, now if you get a certain score of 40, so they need to still match it with what? 30%. Okay. So it's going to just be your score over what? 40 times what? 30. That is how they convert it back to what? A 30% score. You get that? Okay. So that is what you have. Let's use a situation of somebody who chose medicine, MBBS. What's the cutoff mark of medicine for UNILAG last year? I don't have it offhand. All I just need to do here is to check the source. I shared some information on the group. For last year, which was 2005, 2006, the cutoff mark for all the courses were shown. So all you just need to do is look at the one that align with your course. And in a situation where the course you chose is far away from the possibility of admission, what do you do? Is either you change it if you're willing to, or if you're not going to change it, you can only hope that the cutoff mark is lesser than what it is. You know, the number one priority right now is for you to gain an admission. In a situation where you feel like you want to change, you change your course. But in a situation where you cannot do without the course you intend to do, what do you do? Still write the exam, hoping that something changes. But you have to reduce your expectation. Okay, right now I'm looking at the cutoff mark. Let's go straight to medicine. Medicine. Still checking. Still checking. So you can also join me and check. Okay. Currently under the College of Medicine. The cutoff mark for medicine is 85.025. That's the merit cutoff mark for medicine. Then we have some on the catchment region. UNILAG operates 6 different catchment regions: Ekiti, Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, and Oyo. So for now, my focus would be on the merit. So if the cutoff mark is 85.025, now let's make use of this particular situation, this case study I started with Mr. X. Mr. X currently sits on 57.2 over 70. So if Mr. X chose medicine, then in relation to last year cutoff mark, Mr. X must at least have an aggregate of 85.025. What does that mean? If you do 85.025 and subtract 57.200 from that, okay, you can do the computation. You have 85.025 minus 57.2. That means 27.825. Let me make you understand this. It means Mr. S can only be given an admission if he scores at least 27.825. Let us approximate that to 28. It means Mr. X must score 28 over 30 in UNILAG post UTME in order to be guaranteed an admission under the merits list. Do you understand that? Let me know if you understand that. I want you to react to that. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So that means Mr. X in this situation has to score 28 over 30 in order to be guaranteed an admission for medicine. Now, these are the computations you must do before you even begin this post-UTME journey. You need to first calculate the aggregate you have so far on the basis of your post-UTME. On the basis of your UTME score. You divide that by 8. The O-level score, you follow the this that I gave. I gave you the various score depending on the grade. Like A1 is 4.0, B2 3.6, all the way to C6, which is 2.0. You do all that. All right, somebody might want to ask, what about the case of awaiting results? Awaiting results, meaning probably you have an O-level result you're not proud of, though it can still gain you an admission in other schools. But because of the competitive nature of UNILAG, you would want a better O-level result, and probably you've written it and you are currently waiting for the results. Okay, there is a provision for awaiting results in UNILAG post-UTME registration. So, though for this year, UNILAG gave a deadline of, I think, August 15 or so, or 16 for the upload of O-level results. But I want to believe that even if the WAEC result for this year is not out by then, what is going to happen is that they will shift that deadline so that those that wrote WAEC this year can be able to upload theirs. So let your mind be at rest if you are currently awaiting results. So for you that you are awaiting result, of course, you won't be able to calculate the aggregate on that sort of perspective. But immediately it is out, do that calculation. In the case of one sitting, okay, UNILAG do not allow a case of 2 sittings for O level. So if you have 2 sittings, you are not allowed to combine them. It can only be 1 sitting. And further math requirement for some courses. Any engineering course requires further math. Without further math, just forget about engineering. If you have mistakenly chosen engineering before and you now discover that you don't have further math in your O level, we'll change it. Then for some physical science courses, like those that want to study mathematics, those that want to study statistics, those that want to study computer science, you require further math. Then for non-science courses, like there are some non-science courses that require further math. For instance, if you want to do, what's the name of this science course again? The other one for, the equivalence for insurance, but actuarial science. So the actuarial science does not, requires further math. It requires further math for UNILAG students. Without further math, forget about it. And there is this biomedical engineering. Of course, you might want to think that because it's biomedical, it shouldn't require further math. Please, it's still under engineering, therefore, it requires further math. So should in case there is anyone I do not remember to include in this class, I will inform you later on that. So like I said, 1 sitting is a must. Awaiting result is allowed. And in a situation where you have several results that are all good to go, then what do? You choose the best, the one that's going to guarantee you a better aggregate. Okay, then writing of the exam itself. Writing of the post-UTME exam. The exam is 100% online. It's an online exam. You can choose to write it at the comfort of your house. Yes. So if you have a system, it's all good. There are some centers that make use of their venue and facility for examination centers at a certain fee. So for such, you can approach them and make payments. But it has a disadvantage. Disadvantage of writing in external centers for, during post-UTME. Prior to last year, it was all fine and good. Meaning you could just write it anywhere you like. But last year, UNILAG exam cancelled about 70%. I don't have the actual percentage. I cancelled about 70% of results of those that wrote the UNILAG post-UTME exam. Apparently, a lot of persons tried to cheat the system. This had been going on for years, where students try to cheat the system. They have their various way of cheating the system in order to have a better score. But even at that, There are some students that fell victim for this cancellation, and those ones never tried to cheat the system. It just happened to them. So apparently they had there a lot of sensors, like a sensors that captures the movement of your neck, that captures a shadow moving around you, that does probably also captures your mannerism, the way you look at your page while writing, that captures how busy you are, things like that. It's basically an AI capture. So there is that tendency that you might not even mean to cheat the system, and you might be mistaken as somebody who wants to. So last year, for me, I thought they were going to reverse on the what's the word to use, on their decision to make use of the cancellation. I thought they were going to reverse on it, but they didn't. So a number of persons lost their admission last year. They had to write their JAMB. Some went straight to write JAPER. So the things you should be looking at, if you're going to use a certain center to write your exam, be sure that they can guarantee you that the exam is not going to be cancelled on the basis of their center. So if they can guarantee you that, you try to get a system or maybe borrow a system, download what they call examination, save examination browser in it, and configure it for the exam. And you have to do this before the exam. And that's the basis of mock exam. There is a mock, UNILAG mock post-UTME exam. It's not necessary. I mean, it's not supposed to be necessary because it's not going to add to your score. But it is to prep you ahead technically for the exam, because of the technicality that can surround the exam itself. So the exam content, we have mathematics, English, and what? The general paper. So the major part of this, like giving you the tricks to use to answer some questions correctly and within what? The shortest possible time. All this will be explained from next class. So, but prior to then, if you have any question, I want to hear it. Please, is there any question? Anyone? If there is no question, we can call it today.
Mr. Matole, that we have uploaded our O level result before. Are we meant to upload it again, or are we? Is it okay like that?
Okay, good. That's O-level upload. For you that have uploaded your O-level before, and what you're going to do is you need to upload again. This, JAMB system, I mean, that's JAMB database. Sometimes when you upload an information, you try to check and you realize that that information is not there again. So my own advice is to ensure that you go to CBT center, any CBT center close to you, and upload it again. You get, and do that before the deadline. Currently, the deadline, I don't have the actual figure. I mean, let me just check so that I can give you the correct information. I think I shared it earlier. Just hold on, please. I need to quickly check. Just hold on. That's UNILAG. Okay, so the registration deadline for the post-UTME is July 8th. It spans from June 15th to July 8th. That's registration. The O-level upload is August 15th. Deadline, August 15th. Sorry, August 14th, 2026. Just ensure that you upload it before then. Then the mock itself, like I said, the mock is not supposed to be necessary, but I would advise you to do it, not because of the exposure to the question, because the exposure to the question during the mock is not going to give you any advantage, but the technicality behind it is going to give you an advantage. So by then, if your system is ready for the mock, then it's ready for the exam. Then the online post-UTME exam itself that's for the 2026 post-UTME. It's going to be from July 27th to July 31st, 2026. Okay. Any other question?
No, sir.
Okay. So on this note, we'll call it a day on this. By tomorrow, we'll start a proper class where I'll start with math. Okay, you have a question? All right, I'm listening.
Last year they included some of science questions to the normal positioning exam. Is it going to happen again like this year?
Oh, good. Thanks for the reminder. Yes, last year they included some science for the sciences. They included some science subjects, they made it 40 questions or so. And they included about 10 questions for the sciences. For the non-sciences, they did the same. They included the question in such a way that what's the word? It aligns with the course you chose. Yet, we'll just assume they'll do the same this year. Is that answered?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other question? All right.
No.
Take care. Bye for now.
Bye, sir.